Bibi Fahodier Black family, Bibi Fahodier Race First, Hotep. Welcome back to another powerful session here at the School of Urban Philosophy, where we are always, and I'm emphasizing, always straight up, straightforward, and straight to the point. Come on in, come on in, come on in. The session is now beginning. Sign on. And as you coming in, please announce yourself. Let me know you're in session today. We like to be all silent. That's not what it's about to be Black and to be African, my brothers and sisters. To be Black and to be African is to be dynamic. It's to be rhythmic. It's to be vibrant. That's who we are. We are nothing but the manifestation of Black energy, spirit. That's who we are. We've been orientated and displaced, and we've been moved off our center, and we don't oftentimes remember that's who we are. But that's who we are. So there's no need to hide ourselves. Let me know you're there. Black Utopia. First time viewer, stay with us. You're going to enjoy the show. Don't roll out. Stay here. You're in the right space. You're in the right place tonight, where the information is real, straight to the point, straight up and straightforward. So yes, I want to talk a little bit about 47. I think he's 47, whatever he is. Some people call him the turd. They call him the orange person. Call him 47. It really doesn't matter what we address him as to me. But there is something significant happening here in the United States of America, something very significant that we can learn something if we're paying attention, so just stay here. So as always in the chat, and I put in there all our information you need. Here is the new book that's coming out, Scientific, the light, I know the light, there's a glare there, you can't see it. Scientific Pan-Africanism, the redemption, reclamation, and restoration of Pan-Africanism, written by me, Bob M. Hotep. So that's coming out. That's the proof right there. I'm going through the proof. And I'll be complete that between tonight and tomorrow, get it back to the company, and then they'll be able to get the things to me, and the book will become available. But as always, let's dive right in, Black man and Black woman. Those of you who are in the house, please like the video. We got to do the likes. We got to share the video. And we got to invite, our loved ones to chime in, to be a part of what we're talking about. So what I want to do first and foremost is we're in session. Who can tell me, we missed last Thursday, something popped up at the last minute. So I missed last Thursday, but the Thursday before last, who can tell me what we were dealing with? Like, what was the essence, the bulk of the discussion? Who can be called? I'm just testing everyone out, man. See what kind of students we have here today, because we all are students. I believe we are. Those of us that's trying to save our people. We have to remain students so we can consistently grow and evolve and develop. Let me plug this computer up real fast, Black man and Black woman. I don't want it to go out on us. I got you right here. Okay. There we go. Where we at? Where we at? Anyone can recall what we was dealing with? I just want to see, man. I'm just testing us out. Take a guess. Take a stab in the dark. Even if you get it incorrect, take a stab in the dark. But at any rate, this is what we do here. It's about how do we study? How do we develop? How do we better ourselves? So 47. There's a lot of talk about the executive orders that are being signed. There's a lot of talk about how that's going to impact us at the base level. The rollbacks, that's conversation about, how he have just pretty much wiped out policies, from the last 60 years, and all of that is true. None of that is incorrect. None of that is incorrect. That's true. But this is what I want you to understand, black man and black woman. This is an opportune time for us to organize ourselves for change, because he's not going to stop doing what he's doing. He ran on that platform to do exactly what he's doing. He's not going to stop, right? And us jumping online, talking about those who supported him, talking about what he's doing, that's good. That's fine and dandy. We can say all those things, but at the end of the day, that doesn't affect change. And so I'm of the mindset that political education 101, listen, follow me. Political education 101 states this, right? Now, I'm not saying you can go and read this somewhere. You just have to understand how political education works. Now, it tells us that it becomes our responsibility to take advantage of the energy that is being generated by the oppressive regime. Because oftentimes we can't get our people to move because they're complacent and they're comfortable. But this 47, he's shaking people up. So now people are becoming upset and dissatisfied. That is the time that the revolutionaries are supposed to act. Not complain. We're supposed to act. Those of us who say we revolutionary, Pan-Africanists, Black nationalists, Garveyite, Afrocentricity, whatever you call yourself. If you're saying you are for the betterment and the upliftment of Black people, and you have an individual that is upsetting Black people across the board for the most part, right? It becomes something that we can politicize, because our job is to do what? Educate. I'm talking about political education now. It's to educate, agitate, organize, mobilize, and engage. Educate, agitate, organize, mobilize, engage. That's what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to have our what? Have our hands on the pulse of the people. We're supposed to have our hands on the pulse of the people. The people, Black people, are upset right now. Black people are infuriated right now. Black people are dissatisfied right now, for the most part. And because that's what's happening, we're supposed to be in there. That's the time. That's what time this is. This is not the time for the revolutionary to be complaining. This is the time that the revolutionary should have been waiting for. Now, let me clarify what I mean. Now, I'm not saying that we happy that Trump, 47 is in office. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that when the tension is high, because if you understand the way history moves, there are always those low points and those high points in tension. Tension, political, economic, and social tension. When it's high, that's the opportune time for, that's the opportune time for the individuals who are for change. Those of us who are for change, this is the time. This is the time. Not for us to sit back and just complain and talk about those who were party to, facilitating 47. No, that's not how it is done. We can't go back and undo that. That's what's done. Whatever they did, that have become a part of history. Whatever they have did have become a part of history. It's our opportunity. It's our time now to act upon what they have set in motion. Not to go back and just keep on saying this, that, not because we stand still. No, we must act upon what they have set in motion. They've set it in motion. And it actually works in our favor if we understand the essence of political education and revolutionary science. If we truly understand what that is and what it's all about, we know that this is the time right now. We have a 4-year window potentially, right? a 4-year window to operate within. Get to business. Get to work. This is one of my good brothers right here, critical thinker, analysis, political analysis. He said what this future is going to do is force concerned Black people to figure out how to feed, house, and clothe the 10 million Black Americans who will lose resources. No revolution will occur for us. So no, it may not occur. So the argument is not a revolution is going to occur. The argument is that now it's the time to move people, right? So now it's the time to move people, because I've been talking to people already, just in the last 3 days, and people are upset. People are ready to listen. So George Jackson talked about it, in Blood on My Eye. He talked about how he just felt like a certain time period existed, and he felt like, I think he used the term the old guard. He was just saying how the old guard missed an opportunity to just move people. And that's most of what I'm saying. I'm trying to get the point across, is like, this is an opportune time to move people, because people are set up. I think Elijah Muhammad said it best. He said that, people must become 100% dissatisfied. He used the terminology dissatisfaction. And that's pretty much all of what I'm trying to get us to understand, is that now is the time to get some work done, rather than saying what we can't do, or rather than people, like right now, there's a lot of people who are just complaining, and their complaints are valid. Now, I am saying those who supposed to have the awareness, because I'm talking to those ones. I'm not talking to the ones that doesn't have the awareness, that doesn't understand what's going on, who feel like, they're upset, right? I'm saying those ones who doesn't have the awareness, who doesn't know what's going on. This is the time for those who do have, or those who profess to have. This is the time that some of those people that don't have the awareness can be mobilized, can be organized, can be educated, because now some of them will be willing to listen to something that we may have been saying for the last 20 or 30 years. It may have took this moment in history. Now they may be willing to listen, to just listen to some things that were said that they once didn't listen to. So we are 50 million in a land of 150 million documented wing whites. We have no weapons, no resources, and no logical way to provide for ourselves. People are upset, but we always are upset. I disagree with that. I disagree with that. My reason for disagreeing with that is because people, we upset at a lot of things, but we've never been upset at them at a single thing. So that's not what. So I'm not saying it's just empty being upset. Now there's a target, and oftentimes when there's a singular thing that people can focus their frustration on, people can be moved and mobilized, right? I don't believe, that we can't make one step forward. You know what I'm saying? That's total defeatist to think we can't make one step forward. We can't make one single progress forward. That's absolutely and total defeatist. And I would never, I can never subscribe to that belief, because I've seen with my own eyes, I've seen people make change. I've seen it happen. I've seen some work in Baltimore City. There's a group in Baltimore City that's doing phenomenal work. And I've seen them work with my own eyes and seen them move things and get things done. So I've seen the work. I know what can be done. I've seen what Baltimore can do. I've seen how Baltimore reacted with Freddie Gray, and I watched change happen. Was it sustainable? No. But did it happen? Yes. It wasn't sustainable because we wasn't ready to sustain it. So what I'm saying is that when there is a singular target where we can direct that energy, people will move. Am I saying you can get 100,000 people to move? No. Am I saying you can get 1 million people to move? No. I'm just saying that some things can be done. This is an opportunity for people to get some things done. And even if it's just, we have 25, 30 million Black people out of 50 million who still believe they can invest and buy their way to success, are drug addicted and sex crazed. It's not a belief. It's a fact. Oh yeah, those things are true. But that's not everybody though. I know a lot of people that doesn't subscribe to any of that there. So that doesn't apply to everybody. You know what I'm saying? So let me be very clear. I'm not one of the mindset that I need 50 million black people to think the same. That's not what I'm advocating. I'm not saying that at all. I don't believe that. I don't believe that's going to happen. I don't believe that. I don't believe you're going to get 50 million black people to migrate out of America. I don't believe that. So therefore, I would never advocate it. That's not my belief. I don't believe that. I don't believe everybody has to be involved. I don't believe that. So I would never advocate that. So I'm not saying any of that. I'm speaking specifically to those who's supposed to be aware. That's it. That's my target market. Those who say they are aware. And I'm saying that if you are aware, this is a time that we can get some work done. That's all I'm saying. Simple as that. You know what I'm saying? The grand scheme of things, you know, the revolutionize America, no, that's not what I'm advocating. That's not what I'm saying at all. So I hope I'm very clear. I'm speaking specifically to those of us who say we know and we are aware. The ones that can make the analysis of what's going on. I'm talking to these people. I'm talking to the quote unquote, the conscious, the aware, the intellectuals. I'm saying that this is a time to get some work done as opposed to us complaining. Those of us who are supposed to know. That's what I'm saying. This is a time for that. This is a time for that. You know, I have there's a lady that I'm talking to. You know, just 2 months ago, she's always been a good woman, but 2 months ago, she wasn't trying to hear anything I had to say. She wasn't disrespectful, but she wasn't leaning this way. This morning we had a conversation. She 100% over here now. Do I think she wants to stay over here? That's inconsequential. Whether she stays is inconsequential. But what matters is that, can she be utilized right now to make a step forward? Yes, she can. She can be utilized right now to make a step forward. And that's what it comes down to. Like when any type of forward motion designed to push people forward, we use the tools at our disposal. Whatever those tools are the tools that we use to push us forward. And that's what this is about, because it may not necessarily be in my lifetime when the necessary things that really need to happen. But I do want to be known for having played a part I want to be known as having played a part in constructing the conditions necessary that's going to bring that about in the final end. The aware and prepared are probably about 2,000 across the nation. That's it. And that 2,000 do not have a national plan. We need a national. So I know you have, listen, brother, I agree, right? But you have all of the roadblocks. Like your analysis is an analysis of roadblocks. So if you acknowledge that it's 2,000, then let's work with the 2,000 then. Let's not create the roadblock. Let's not say what they don't have. If we can acknowledge that it doesn't exist, then how do we bring it about? That's the philosophy that I go with, right? So let's just go with that. It's 2,000. The 2,000 don't have a national plan. How do you bring the national plan about? That's how we work this thing. That's how it's done. It's not, it can't get no other way. And that there, I do agree with. I'm not in disagreement with that. But my position is always a position of action. My mind don't process analysis that consistently stop. My mind don't process that. My mind is a mind of action because I've seen the impossible. See, like I say, I share my story all the time. See, I have a 45 on my spinal cord. I have a 45 on my spinal cord. See, I was told that I would never walk again. I was released from the hospital in a body cast, saying you'll never walk again. But I walk. I have a buddy of mine who was on life support, and every doctor was convincing his mother, pull the plug. There's nothing you can do for him. For some reason, the mother wouldn't do it. She said something wouldn't let her do it. Now my buddy is 100% functional. So I don't believe in the roadblocks. It just don't work for my mind. I don't process it that way. So I like to hear, I love the analysis. I love the critique and all that, right? But for me, it can never be the roadblocks. It can never be the roadblocks. I know we can do whatever we choose to do. Whatever we choose to do can be done. We just got to do it. That's always been my philosophy. That's how I move. Like, not accepting what can't be done. We can do whatever. Is it going to be easy? I'm not saying it's going to be easy. Is it going to happen overnight? I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight. But can it be done? Yes, it can be done. That's the kind of confidence that I walk with, because I've done a whole lot of things. So you're an excellent motivator. I suggested repeatedly that you do a call as leaders to organize or plan a committee. I'm down for it. If you send out a private invite to 50 people, that's the start. Now, there we go, my brother. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. It's always. But I like that. Like I told you, I love your thinking. I love your thinking, and I'm glad we can go. I'm glad we can have the discussion online, because we sometimes may come from two different points of views doesn't mean we're not aligned. So and I just want people to see like we align, like you and I, we align, like you're my brother, and that's what this is about. But I'm not gonna forget this suggestion right here, and I never forgot the suggestion when you first put it out. You know, I think that I believe every general in his or her own way has a way in which they move and do things, and all good advice that I receive, I make sure I utilize it in some capacity. I'm not the kind of person, I've never believed that I had to figure everything out by myself. Not me. No, that's not my thinking. A fool think that way. I don't believe I have to figure everything out. I don't believe it had to be all my ideas. In fact, I don't even want it to be all my ideas. I wanted to be a group of people that's competent. That's all my thing. I just want competent people to be involved. Don't even have to be me, because realistically speaking, I prefer to be in the back. You know, I'm an executor. You know, I come to the front when it's needed, and it's a necessity. I'm an executor, man. Give me my instructions, give me my marching orders, and watch me go and do what I need to do. So I don't think it got to be all me. So I've heard you the first time, and I heard you this time, and that's part of the process. That's part of the plan. I'll say that much. That is part of the plan. We're going to get that all. You know, we are making some strides, because just like you and I, we are in two different states, but because we're in two different states, it have not gotten in the way of us building a relationship. You know, so if you and I can do it, we know it can be done with other individuals that have similar ways of thinking. That's the start. We can't organize any and everybody in an open call to organize. That's never worked anywhere in history. There needs to be a planning committee with an organized, documented plan. Yes, that's true. I'll share something with you also. So a lot of times, some things that people do comes from personal experience. So I know in some personal experiences, personal experience impacts how people operate. You know, so as you're moving forward, when I say you, I'm talking about in the general sense. So when you're moving forward in an effort to do things, it's about also trying to remember those personal experiences so that you don't repeat those things. You know, so in terms of what you are suggesting, just know that it's understandable. And oftentimes, when something isn't revealed, that's not always an indication that that thing doesn't exist. You know, so that's why I prefer for people to reach out to me and ask me questions. And I think you and I had that conversation before. I prefer for people to reach out to me and just ask me a question, because everything isn't always going to be revealed, but in asking a question, you'll come to see like, wow, okay, I didn't know what he was thinking of. I didn't know what that was about. I thought I was thinking this, that, and other. And I just think that's what it comes down to. If a person really want to know, you know what I'm saying, how, you know, things are unfolding, just ask that basic question. You know, we can have those conversations as always and move forward, because that's what it's about. You know, but at the same time, like I said earlier, starting off in this presentation, I am of the mindset that, you know, on a basic level, there are a lot of organizations, man, you know, that I know of right now that in their own way do good work, good local work from where they are at. Some of those organizations, you know, may not necessarily be paying attention to what's happening right now, you know, in the sense of how it works in their favor. They may know that, you know, there's, you know, 47 is signing these executive orders, but they may not really know how these things could be worked in their favor. So that's why I felt like it was necessary to bring the conversation to here in the School of Urban Philosophy to let people know, like, no, this is what we should be doing. We can organize. We can organize around what's happening. The people that's on the corners right now are upset. And that energy, that force from the streets is needed. You know what I'm saying? You need them, brothers, but they are ready to listen now to some things they wasn't listening to at first. Because of all of this fire. So at least here in Baltimore City. So I can't speak for everybody, location. But in Baltimore City, people are ready to listen to some things, man, and they're ready to pull in somewhere, and we got to be willing to work with them. So this is my proposal to you. Send out a private call to men and women you trust, and let's build a central planning team that leads to a future national planning agenda. Let's go. I'm here. My brother, I hear you. I hear you. That's what's up. That's how it's done, man. So we got to keep it moving. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. We coming up on Black History Month. And oftentimes people want to attack Black History Month, but this Black History Month in this particular year, this is, in my assessment, it's a historic Black History Month. Because once again, it should be about elevating the awareness and the consciousness of the people. That's what it should be about. Whatever we do or whatever is happening, it should be done in such a way that's going to impact the consciousness of people. And with that, maintaining the proper narrative about what Black History Month is, because oftentimes it comes under attack. Black History Month, they gave us the shortest month of the year. We always say they, this, that, and other. And we assume that, the European did this, that, and other. When the Europeans didn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? But we assume that too much, and we create a false narrative. Because no one is saying that February is the only month that you can study and learn about your history and your culture. It's just saying that February is the month that's set aside to make it national. Now, if you disagree with that and you want something more national, then keep nationalizing every Black birthday you can think of. Nationalize it. Like, you can do it yourself. That's who we are. If you want to get it done, then we do that. So that's what it's about. But don't always attribute everything to them. And don't always knock us down. Like we've been under too much. And we come under attack too much for everybody to always find a reason to attack us. Like, attack us about everything. Like we're the only group of people that has issues. No, every group of people on the planet got issues. And they got issues greater than ours. But we always, we tend to subordinate ourselves. Even when we talk about violence in a way as if we are, naturally prone to violence, like violence is just something that's a part of us, and our history don't even support that. It doesn't support that at all. You know what I'm saying? But that's what this is about. So Black History Month is about making us aware of who we are, man. We can always, we can always, honor and acknowledge, certain Black men and women who have done heroic and outstanding deeds for us as a people. But at the same time, we got some everyday people that do wonderful and great things for us. And I don't want us to fall into the trap of thinking that everything that's great about Black is in the ground, man. We tend to just like, man, you got some cities. I'm gonna say Baltimore City. In Baltimore City alone, you have some phenomenal, outstanding Black men and Black women that's adding to the forward thrust of Black people who are never celebrated, right? Are never celebrated. Now, I'm not saying these people's even looking for it. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying that we've been kind of orientated to think that the only thing that's great about black people, you got to be dead. So we go out our way to find any dead black person that done something, and we want to elevate that person, which you should. But we tend to always look past those that's right there beside you, in most cases, man, that are just as phenomenal, just as great. You know, and that's for real, man. Like right now in the black world, I mean, living entities in the black world, we have so many that are great, that are excellent, that have given their entire life to push us forward and are doing it day in and day out. So we don't always have to just think that the only greatness that we have as people are those who have already died. You know, we got to get out that mindset. You know, now I'm a huge fan of African ancestors, black ancestors. I love it. I love learning about them. I love it. But at the same time, I'm a huge fan of watching phenomenal people work in real time. A huge fan of that. I love creative, audacious, thinking black men and black women who are truly and absolutely committed to the upliftment, the empowerment, and the forward thrust of black people. I love watching them work and do what they do. I love watching how they write their books or do their presentations or organize. That stuff is nothing like it. It's totally magical when you can see it and be there with it. So I don't look past these people or step over these people because I know them or because I can call them because I got easy access to them. We do that too much. We take easy access to mean that a person is not valuable. We devalue you because we got access to you. And that's not right. We do that too much. Or because I got access to him or her, now that person is devalued because I can probably inbox or message the person. And in some instances, I have a phone number on this individual or an email. So now this person who's absolutely great, this person is a giant in his or her own right. We've just reduced him because we have access to him or her. That's not the right. That's not what it means to be, you know, an upright black man or black woman. Because, excuse me, true black men and black women, we're not threatened or intimidated by or jealous of another person that's doing his or her thing for us. I remember one time, and I saw this with my own eyes, and I know I saw this with my own eyes. So there's a barber, a great warrior scholar that's out here doing a lot of work. So he came to Baltimore. It's probably about 10 years ago. A little longer than 10 years. About 10 years ago, 2014. Yeah, about 2014 to be exact. 15 years ago. Came to Baltimore to do some work with PLM. And so he and I, we was traveling together throughout the city. You know, we took him to the school building where we was at this time period. We had a program in the school, so we took him there, showed him the program, showing what we was doing with the children, and then we went to the book spot in Baltimore, African World Books. So we go there just to check in on and holler at Baba Nati. So as we come in to African World Books, there's another warrior scholar that's already on the inside. And this is what I noticed. But those two warrior scholars, this was their first time meeting each other in person. But they knew each other by way of their work. But when I watched this right here, both of them were fans of one another. Both of them. And they expressed it like, wow, man, you know, we use your book, this, that, and other. And this, man, I've been reading some of your stuff. I've been studying your work, blah, 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 blah. And they chopped it up. And I just watched that for a second, right? And I watched, and both of them are of age. But they was able to truly appreciate one another's work and still hold each other up in his own greatness. They was able to extend that to one another. They didn't get there and snub each other up and not, you're like you gonna acknowledge me as being greater than you or what? No, they saw each other as being great and help each other up. That's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. We got here, he said, from forced integration to much that was required to pacify the races into submission under the capitalist system has run its course. The pressure is on them, and the time is now, locally and globally. I agree, my brother. I agree. But like I was, just bouncing back to the point, it's like there are great people. So Black History Month, we are living, we are making it. We're standing in history. We understand history, the true dynamics of history. We are standing in history. That's what we're doing right now. We are standing in history. We are making it, So it's our responsibility to be involved in the making of history. And you become a part of the making of history by doing what? By engaging the forces that shapes reality. Like the social forces that shapes reality, the political, social, and economic dynamics that moves this thing that we call a social system, a political system, a government, an apparatus. Like, we have to engage that. We can't stand off on the peripheral. We can't be stagnant. We can't be spectators. We have to be what? Protagonists. We have to be actively involved. That is where the great amount of your education is going to come from. Being involved, not just being an analyzer, right? We got to be involved, doing the work, because you learn so much when you dive in that thing and do that work. You learn a whole lot from doing that work. And for me, I've been doing organizing and engaging with people, man, for over 30 years. And I know oftentimes people may look at me and they might just see me, I don't have a big frame. I don't really have an old looking type of face. I don't believe I do anyway. So when I tell a person it's been over 30 years, they be like 30. Yes, it's been that long, for me. You know what I'm saying? We talking about the end of 1992, the beginning of 1993. That's when I began to work with Black people and try to help Black people. And I've been consistent since then. We're in the year 2025. 2025. So I've had it all. I done been betrayed. I've been persecuted. I done been abandoned, let down, lied to, you name it. So I'm clear about, how treacherous we can be, but that doesn't define my reality. I know that when them Europeans beat on you and beat on you and beat on you and beat on you and beat on you, people give up, man. People break in if they haven't properly prepared themselves, man, for the long haul. I'm properly prepared for the long haul. Properly prepared for the long haul. And you gotta, like I said early on, and I'm saying it now, you gotta understand the dynamics of history. You gotta understand how history works and how it unfolds. And you gotta understand that you have a responsibility to be a part of the making of history. Not always stand on the sideline waiting for others to do. Get involved. That doesn't mean that everybody gotta be the leader. And let me address that thing real quick as well, because that's another fake narrative that's going around. It's real fake. And that narrative is this right here. We don't need leaders. That's the narrative. Man, we don't need leaders. We don't need leaders. We don't need leaders. And if anybody out there object to what I'm saying, please weigh in so we can work this thing out. Because I want a person to point to a point in history, in our history, when we didn't have leaders. I just want to find it, a point in history. And by history, I mean, I'm talking about before we even got in these lands over here. Show me in our history where we never had leaders. Like, show me those great kingdoms and those great empires that we like to talk about so much. And show them to me. And we didn't have leaders. Now, we didn't have autocratic leaders for the most part. But yeah, we had a collective governance, but we also had people who served as leaders as well. So that narrative, we don't need leaders, we all leaders, and that's a setup. That is a setup. That's a setup for us. We need leaders, man. Because I've been doing this work long enough to know one thing, that everybody, they're not going to do what it takes. But leaders, real leaders, a Fannie Lou Hamer, you talking about a Malcolm X, everybody wasn't going to do what Malcolm X done. Everybody wasn't going to do what Fannie Lou Hamer done. Everybody wasn't going to do what Dr. Martin Luther King done. What are we talking about? We don't need leaders. What are we talking about? Everybody that was out there wasn't going to do what King done. King moved his family into the projects. He was in this thing for real. He moved into the projects to go in there and try to get some work done. Everybody's not going to do that. We talk a lot of game, but some of us don't even come around our people, man. Some of us don't even know what a hood look like. We sit behind a computer and talk a lot and intellectualize a lot. We ain't even trying to go nowhere near our people. When the last time you rode on a bus or a subway? Come on now. We don't need leaders. And we listening to that stuff because it sounds good. Man, everybody got to be there. We our own leaders. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you should be able to make decisions for yourself. No doubt. You should be able to do that. But we need leaders, man. We've always needed leaders. Leaders are going to do what others are not going to do. And don't pop on here and tell me nothing about no fake leaders, because I'm not talking about fake leaders. If I wanted to talk about fake leaders, I would have said fake leaders. I'm talking about leaders, real leaders. A real leader is going to do what most people will never do. That's what the real leader is going to do. The real leader is he's going to eat less. He's going to sleep less. He's going to do more. He's going to stay up more. He's going to read more. He's going to study more. He's going to write more. That's what the real leader is going to do. He's going to always pop up on the front line first. That's what he's going to do. He's going to sacrifice more. He's going to endure more. He's going to put more on his back. That's what he's going to do. Most people are not going to do that. They will complain like they always do. They complain. Well, I got to do this, man. Or so-and-so ain't doing this. Leaders ain't doing that, man. Leaders getting the job done. You need leaders. Let these people keep telling you we don't need no leaders. And it's coming from a bunch of old people. I heard a bunch of old people saying it. And they're supposed to know better. That's why we're so jacked up, because it's a bunch of confusion. People are being told, respect the elders, listen to the elders. And then you got these people that's taking on the title of elders that don't even think like elders. They're saying foolishness like that. So we are confused and jacked up. And then you got those who do know that's trying to we're trying to honor the tradition to not appear to be disrespectful. So we stuck. But don't let nobody keep telling us we don't need no leaders, man. You ain't gonna do what the leader's gonna do. Who's gonna do? Who's gonna do what Garvey did? Huh? Who's gonna do what Garvey did? No, you're not gonna do what no Garvey did. Cut it out. You know what I'm saying? How many Nat Turners do we have? Think about it. How many Nat Turners do we have? You're not gonna do what a leader's gonna do, man. We gotta stop saying that stuff, man. We don't need no leaders. You know, a bunch of Ella Bakers running around. Ain't a bunch of Ella Bakers running around. Bunch of Garveys, bunch of Hubert Harrisons, a bunch of them. Kwame Nkrumahs, Patrice Lumumba's. You know what I'm saying? If it was, another one would have popped up after Patrice and kept popping up. We need leaders. Now, I'm not saying that you need people, you know what I'm saying, and other people shouldn't have their own. I'm not saying nothing like that. I'm saying that we need a quote-unquote savior complex. That's not what I'm saying. I am saying that for the job at hand, meaning this thing we call liberation, this struggle, whatever you want to call it, we need leaders. Need leaders. Not only do we need leaders, we need everything else in between. So I'm not saying that the leaders are the end-all be-all. No, everybody is valuable that's needed. We need our executors. We need our hitters. Everybody is valuable. So we're not going to invalidate leadership. That's why we out of kettle now, man. We're not going to invalidate leadership. Leadership is valuable. We're not going to invalidate it and keep saying we don't need leaders like it's something, it's insignificant, like it's just something that's mundane. Anybody can do it. It's so simple. It's so rudimentary that we can just do away with it. Come on now. Be for real. Be for real. I've watched my own eyes. I've watched people break. I've watched people quit. I've watched people make up lies to not stay committed. I've watched people switch sides. I've watched people betray. I've watched all of these things. Right? I've watched all of this weakness. But when you have authentic Black leadership, none of that crap shows up. None of that crap shows up. Malcolm X transitioned at 39. He was young. And everybody know, for the most part, we may not have all the inside details. You don't need all the inside details. You don't need to be that nosy. But we know enough about what happened and who was involved and how they was utilized. We know enough of that crap. We know who was involved in the slaughter of Patrice Lumumba. We know that. We know who was involved in the assassination of Thomas Sankara. We know that. We clear about all of this stuff that's been taking place. We know those clowns, you see what I'm saying, betrayed Garvey and sold him out and worked with the peoples to get rid of Garvey. We know these things. Yeah, we need leadership, and we need a serious, thorough leadership. We need a leadership that's going to implement a system of serious discipline. Yes, we do. We need leaders. Don't ever invalidate our Black leadership. And I'm talking about real leadership, authentic leadership. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about, you know what I'm saying, no commercial leader. I'm not talking about nothing like that. You know, I'm talking about those leaders, man, who are of the people, from the people, and for the people. That's what I'm talking about. But they're competent, they're disciplined, they're smart, they're wise, they're strategic, they're visionaries. They're both theoreticians and practitioners. Because we need both. We don't need a leader that's all theoretical and has no practicality about him or no pragmatism. We don't need somebody that's all practical and has no theory about it. They're not thinking. They can't conceptualize. We don't need that. We need leaders that bring both. That's what we need, you know. And this thing is serious that we're dealing with. We need the best people on the job. And we're so at times we can be so emotional that we can't even have that type of conversation about we need the best people in the job. But the enemy always had a conversation. They understand it clearly. We need the best people. You know what I'm saying? I need my best snipers up front. They understand that. Everybody know that Jimmy and Bob is the best snipers. They shoot from the longest distance. They not complaining about that. We try to have those kind of conversations. We get into all this other crap, but all of us are not good at doing this, and that's the truth. Some of us are better than others. We need the best on the job. We need the best on the job. That's what we need. Like Baba Takar, he always talks about it, man. In so many words, he might say it differently over the time, but he's always talking about it. It's a reoccurring theme with the Baba. He's on point with that. He say, master your craft. Master your craft. And he's on point with that. That's true. If you're saying you want to save Black people, then master the craft of saving Black people. Master the craft. Figure out what it's going to take. Don't come in this joint, you know, you half-ass. You know, you giving half, and then you want to be acknowledged. You want accolades, and you giving half. You want somebody to pat you on your back, and then when you don't get patted on the back, you run off and tell somebody, oh, I feel underappreciated. Why should somebody appreciate you and all you do is bring 50 cents every time you come? What's appreciable about that? And we dying out here. We insane to think that. And you know you show up half-assed all the time. Gotta track you down, you come late, you don't complete tasks, you bail out when you shouldn't bail out, but you want to be acknowledged, you get no acknowledgments for that. Show up every single time like the leaders show up every single time. The leader can't duck out. The leader can't come late. The leader can't give you 50 cents. When I grew up, I was told that fair exchange is no robbery. So whatever the leader gives, that's what you give. If the leader give 100%, then you give 100%. Not going to acknowledge you and appreciate you and pat you on your back and reinforce mediocrity. That's what you want me to do? Reinforce your subpar work? No, man. You ain't getting it from me. You know? You ain't gonna get it from me because I give you 100% every single time. I don't care what the task is. When I'm sweeping the floor, I give you 100%. If I'm mopping, I give you 100%. If I'm wiping the table off, I give you 100%. You know why? Because my character is associated to whatever I do. That's why. You will never say, well, man, he did a half job on the table. You will never get the ability to say that. So you can't get appreciation, patted on the back, and you giving 50%. Give everything you're supposed to give, man, or get off the field. You know, don't just be out there and be in the way. You know, why you want to keep being sat down and talked to? Just get out the way. Someone's there. If you're not ready, just say, I'm not ready. Y'all watch Blood, what the movie called? Boys in the Hood. You saw that. You know, when Doughboy and them got in the car, they was going to try to do what they felt like they had to go and do. And the other brother, what his name? Cuba Gooding Jr. character, I forget his name, but he was in the back seat. He realized, like, at the end of the day, he realized, you know what, man? I was caught up in my emotion. I'm really not about this life right here. Like, man, pull this cover, let me get out. I can appreciate that because he was being himself. I can't get mad at you for what you don't have in you. Can't hold you accountable if you don't got something in you that I think I got in me. I can appreciate you being honest. Therefore, you're not going to get us jammed up. And we got too much of that happening in the movement. Too many people are really in the way, man. Get out the way. Get off the field. Get out the way. Get off the field. And let those of us who are serious about this work do the work, man. Just get out the way. I want to keep talking to you. You know it, man. People keep getting pulled into meetings, held accountable. I want to keep being held accountable like you're a child or something. You shouldn't even want that. I wouldn't want you to keep holding me accountable. If it was me, yeah, let me make I'm okay. I'll make a few mistakes here and there. I ain't got no problem with that. But hey, check this out. I'm going to get it together. I'm not going to consistently be in your office, being set down, being talked to, being chastised and held accountable, being reminded of what I'm supposed to do. Right? So that's why I say you need leaders. Because you didn't need leaders. If everybody was a leader, you wouldn't have this type of crap going on. There's so many incompetent people running around out here. So many are highly incompetent. They're just in the way. In the way. Want to be acknowledged. But see, I'm clear about all of that because I know the destruction that have happened to us at the psycho-spiritual level. See, I'm so clear about how we have been destroyed in so many ways at the psycho-spiritual level that it have diminished us in terms of what it means to be men and women. Right? We have been reduced that we require so much attention now. We require so much attention because there's so many deficits on the inside of us because of trying to live inside this society, right? That is not good for us. This society, the way this society is set up under this leadership, not just the leadership to just take the leadership, but the entire history of his leadership, the structures, the policies, the institutions, the systems, the processes, all of that is harmful to Black people. And it have harmed us in a very incremental way over a long period of time. So now we are seeing the harmful effects of being in this land. And the harmful effects of being in this land is manifesting in a form of Black insanity, but a type of insanity that have not been diagnosed because we're looking for the diagnoses that they have categorized and cataloged inside their medical books. And so a lot of the insanities that we suffer from are not in their books. So we're living with a type of Black insanity that have not been totally diagnosed. Right? Part of that is a diminishment in manhood and womanhood. Whereas Individuals are grown physically, and they have, in terms of physiological growth, the brain is physiologically developed, but the stuff, the emotional and psychological and spiritual stuff, it's not. It's underdeveloped. It is underdeveloped. And because it's underdeveloped, it gives birth to behaviors that are not in the best interest of the person or us as a people. And that lends to the failure in our areas of our relationship. Because to be in a relationship, a man and a woman, let me be real clear, we just can't say relationship today, because once upon a time, you could just say relationship and people already knew you was talking about a man and a woman. Not today. Let me knock on my table on that one. Today, you gotta specify. You talk about a man or a woman, because nowadays, you can talk about almost anything, right? But anyway, let me stay to the point. The relationship suffers. Now, I'm not saying this is in every instance. I'm speaking about in most instances, but not in every instance, right? Our relationship suffers because to be in a relationship requires a type of maturity, right? Mature people are those who execute relationships because of the type of decisions that are required that you make, the type of vulnerability that is required, the type of transparency that is required, the type of compromises that you must be able to be willing to make with the person that you say you want to live the rest of your life with. There are certain compromises that need to be made. And all these things are designed so that you and this person can become closer together. That requires maturity, right? It takes a mature person to have an argument or disagreement with his wife or the wife with the husband. It takes a mature person to be able to have that and be a little heated and get over that and still can come back together and keep it going, right? The immature person, we hold on to those things like that because we don't have the emotional growth. We don't have the emotional growth, the emotional intelligence, the emotional development that would allow us to be able to deal with, you know what I'm saying, the disagreements, the disruption that have just occurred. Right? It requires maturity to be able to deal with it, to assess it, process it, and move on from it, right? You assess it, you process it, you'll do one or two things. You're going to what? Accept accountability for it, then you're going to move on from it. Or you're going to accept the person's that's extending his or her apology to you. Then you're going to be able to accept that, and you're going to move on from it. You're not going to hold on to it and allow it to further interfere with the relationship. It requires maturity, man, to be in a relationship. It requires mature people to rear children. Right? So that's why some of our families are in shambles, because most of us, you know, if we're honest, we was raised by immature people. They was just our parents. They was immature themselves. They didn't have the maturity to teach us how to be mature, to even model maturity for us, right? Because we learn from what we see, right? So you're not coming to the world knowing what maturity look like. You come to the world with the potential to be mature. But you need mature people to do what? To teach you what maturity is, to model it for you in practice so you know what to emulate. Many of us didn't grow up in those kind of homes. We didn't see that. So then we go out into the world and we try to get into these things we call relationships that requires maturity. We have no clue as to what it is. And in fact, we're just not there. We're not ready for it. And so what we do, we fail utterly. And sometimes we fail in such a way as that we get hurt. And then that hurt is the thing that we say we don't want to experience again. We don't want to be hurt again. So we give up on relationship. So let me conclude there, black man and black woman, because it's now 10:01. As always, make sure y'all like this video real quick before we close out, man. Please, man, put them likes in there. You know, put those likes in there. A lot of times we come on and we don't always. We come on and we don't always, you know, like and share, man. Help out. You know, if you come on here on a regular and you like the content, you know, help me. Let's grow the content. Let's reach as many people as we can reach and get people involved so we can keep moving and doing what needs to be done. So make sure you like the videos. Inside the chat, there's some links in here I put in there. The link for, if you want to pre-order my, like I said early on, this is the proof. This is scientific Pan-Africanism. This is the physical proof that I'm going through of my latest book that's coming out. You know, it should be, I should be sending out, because many of you pre-ordered. Many of you pre-ordered, so your pre-order should be going in the mail within about 10 days at the latest, right? 10 days, them boys should get shipped out on their way to you so you can have your fresh copy of Scientific Pan-Africanism. It's an absolutely great book. Read it from beginning to end. Everything in this book is educational, from the foreword, which is written by my good sister here in Baltimore City, Dr. Oya Ma'at. You know her as Dr. Ma'at from the online. The introduction is Baba Baruti. You know Baba Baruti. And we got a prologue here. Prologue is written by one of my brothers, Shegu Fatu, educational. And the preface written by me, my own preface, educational. So when you get this book, man, read this book from the front to the end. Don't skip the forward like people normally do. Read the forward. You're going to learn something there. Read the prologue. You're going to learn something there. Most definitely read that introduction. You're going to learn something, my brothers and sisters. Man, this is a powerhouse. We taking 2025 by storm. We're going to recenter. We're going to recenter Pan-Africanism, because Pan-Africanism has been coming under attack by a lot of people who don't understand what it is or what it's all about. But now you're going to have one of the most definitive books that explains it. I'm not writing a history of it. I'm explaining it by way of clarification and elaboration. Make sure you get your book, Scientific Pan-Africanism. The link is in the chat. And with that, black man and black woman, as always, Abibi Fahodie. Abibi Fahodie, race first. Meet me here, same time, same place, next Thursday, where we always straight up, straightforward, and straight to the point.